Any pool can be a wealthy man's bathtub if you've got enough serves.
That's true. All right, welcome to the show, everyone. This is the last podcast on the left. I am Ben Kissel. That's Marcus Parks.
Hey, Ben.
And, of course, we got Henry Zabrowski.
Ooh, I have been hanging out with Screech for the last 3 days.
Really?
Diamond has been on set for Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, and he's an interesting guy. He's explained a lot of stuff. He's not a murderer.
Oh, I see. He did stab somebody in my home state of Wisconsin, so he wants to be one.
He's just practicing. I don't think he's not practicing. That's unfair. No, he's doing very well. He's completely rehabilitated.
That's incredible. Well, Dustin Diamond, look out for him on this season of Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell.
He made quite a bit of money off of Saved by the Smell.
Was that the name of his porno?
Yes. He wasn't in it. He tells me it was a body double. I don't know if that's a myth or not, but he told me it's a body double, and he didn't actually do it. And that's because he had to convince his now wife that he wasn't in the sex tape. And she's like, oh, but you put it out. And he's like, well, I've got all the footage to show that it's just some guy with an afro wig on with a huge old dong. He's like, you've seen my penis.
It's tiny and weird, honey. All right, what a lucky lady. So we've been covering some really light topics, so we've decided to get into a really heavy episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about Bigfoot hunters.
Yes. Those marginalized members of society that have been fighting for the truth for way too long.
Yeah, you know what? And much persecuted, much like the Pokemon are.
Oh, my God.
I actually find it really distasteful that in Germany they're doing the Pokemon Go game and they're putting little yarmulkes in the Pokemon. And the way you get them is you have to hit it with a stick. And the number one you got to get, isn't it Jigafoot?
I don't know. They all sound like racial slurs if you put it into this kind of context.
It really does. But their main one is just called Anne.
Oh, isn't that interesting? And
it's a little fat one with a bob haircut.
Yes, and they're wearing little sheriff badges, I've heard.
Of course, today, yes, it is Bigfoot hunters on today's last podcast on the left. Now, there are numerous internet sources for today's episode, but the book used in today's episode is Weird Science and Bizarre Beliefs by Dr. Gregory L. Reese. It is highly recommended for anyone looking to get a better understanding of the types of people that we're going to be talking about today and a lot of the weird things that have gone on in America and the world, including, I got a lot of Hollow Earth stuff from them. There's some great mole men stuff on those guys. It's a really cool book, and I definitely recommend checking it out.
And there's no way Gregory Reese is not a doctor. He printed out a paper that says, I am a doctor.
There's no way he's not a doctor. Yeah, we're sure, because DR could also just be short for, Drewford. And he doesn't want to go by Drewford anymore, so he's just like, yeah, now they think I'm official. Also, I watched about 45 minutes of a man that we're going to cover today. He's a wonderful personality, Tom Biscardi. He made a documentary called Bigfoot Lives that I was watching on Amazon. It's only available through Amazon. Very savvy, very smart to get the rental money from Amazon. But they, man, these big fat old guys are obsessed with feet.
Yeah. I guess once you can't see your own, you just go hunting for another's.
We've covered Bigfoot lightly before. This is more about the personalities behind the hunt for Bigfoot.
Right.
These people are like older women turned to gems, older men with camouflage full outfits turn to hunting Bigfoot.
Right. I mean, and it's really more of a communal experience where they can go and get drunk with their friends and have an excuse to tell their wives of why they're doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Ben, me and you watched a Bigfoot Hunter episode in which it was 4 very overweight men with very large beards, and they were hunting, I think it was called the Minnesota Whistler. And
they were armed to the teeth as if they were about to go fight in Afghanistan, but really they were fighting a fictional character.
Absolutely. And they had these gigantic shotguns that they all made sure to cock and load before they went, just traipsing off into the darkness. But in order to attract the Whistler, what they actually did was they brought along a harmonica.
Why did we get the only one of our...
No, they brought along a harmonica because it was said that the Whistler actually responded to harmonica noises. So every once in a while, they'd turn to one of the hillbillies and do it. And he'd pull out his harmonica.
And then you just hear off in the distance, oh, dear.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Whistler with that down south voice.
No.
Muddy waters, ladies and gentlemen.
No, the first Bigfoot hunt we'll cover today is actually more of a Bigfoot hunting accident perpetrated by a man named Charlie Victor of the Squaw Reserve located in the Pacific Northwest. Now, this hunting accident is actually actually where we get the term Sasquatch from.
Oh,
Charlie Victor was the guy who coined the term Sasquatch.
And that
Now,
was the
squaw is also a Native American term for like tiny hot lady.
Well,
right?
I'm not sure if that's factually accurate.
So is this like Babe Reserve for the Native Americans? It's like, oh, must go to Squaw Reserve because that's where all the hot trim is. Isn't that true, horny beaver?
yeah.
Well, one day, as Charlie was out hunting, he fired into the brush thinking that he was shooting at a bear. But after hearing a distinctly human cry, Charlie discovered he had instead shot a naked 12-year-old boy.
Interesting. Now, what state of body was the child? If you could confuse a 12-year-old boy for a bear. I mean, similar to the way I grew up.
Right.
Because I had back hair literally by the age of 10.
Yeah, you do look like a kind of a cub.
Yeah, a bit. No, from what I understand, he was a bit malnourished.
Okay.
He was a skinny, hairless white boy.
Seems like the opposite of a bear.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I got that wrong.
No, soon after the boy started screaming, a full-grown, 6-foot-tall, covered in hair, female Bigfoot emerged from the woods. Charlie, who claimed to have strangled many a bear with nothing but his own 2 hands, later said that the creature could have broken every bone in his body without effort.
What's this guy doing going around strangling bears?
It seems ridiculous.
No, you see, Russians do it all the time.
Strangle bears?
Yeah, we cover it on Roundtable constantly.
Okay.
I don't know. Charlie sounds like the O.J. Simpson, but for bears.
Yes. Not nice. Not a nice guy.
Now, the creature, obviously upset that the child had been shot, turned to Charlie and said in the local native tongue, "You have shot my friend."
Very masculine voice for a female Bigfoot.
Charlie apologized, saying he thought that the naked prepubescent was a full-grown bear.
And that's what every mother wants to hear, how their child to describe. Sorry, I didn't mean to shoot your boy. I thought it was a tiny naked bear.
Yes.
And then that's how all pedophiles can get away with shit from now on. Just saying, I was just trying to tame that crazy naked tiny bear.
Right.
But instead of ripping Charlie to shreds, as she probably should have done, the Bigfoot began doing what Charlie called a quote-unquote wild frisk around the boy, chanting in a loud voice for a minute or two, to which Charlie heard a wild howl come from the mountains in response.
So do we know that this wasn't just another human being?
I mean, according to Charlie Victor, it was a 6-foot-tall woman covered in hair.
This would only be true if it was in Greece.
Yes.
And next, the Bigfoot, who was apparently just carrying this thing around with her, started striking the ground with a 6-foot length of intestine over and over again.
Where'd you get the intestine from? Is it like Bugs Bunny?
Does seem like a lot of intestine.
And when the bizarre ritual ended, the Bigfoot picked up the boy and disappeared into the woods without giving Charlie a second thought.
Oh, he didn't even get to take home his kill and eat it. Isn't that sad?
Big feet seem to do that a lot. They always describe that about Bigfoot leaving without a second thought. Like they're always like just showing up, doing something dumb or like waving and then just leaving like they're the wacky neighbor in that what was that? The show was it Empty Nest?
Empty Nest, yeah.
Yeah.
Good show.
Yeah. Now, of course, while Charlie's Bigfoot hunt experience was an accident, there are thousands out there who take the actual hunting of Bigfoot very seriously and have even devised techniques and tools for the actual hunt.
Now, every single time I see a title like In Bigfoot Lives, all the guys, the weird Wisconsin guys that Tom Biscardi is with, they all have the same title of private investigator, which I actually don't know what that means. I think I technically can be a private investigator if I want, because what I do on my own is private.
And then,
right?
Yeah, and you're investigating. If you have an expired license, you're a private investigator.
Yeah.
That's the number one rule off the grid.
Remember, when they say private investigator, there is sometimes, but not always, the adjective licensed in front of private investigator.
Right.
And when they say licensed private investigator, that's when you can take them a little more seriously.
But you don't want to go with one of those people. They're part of the system. They're part of the problem.
I just kind of like to fuck with crime scenes.
No,
Are you eating the bullet shells, sir?
Oh, damn, I thought it was cashews. I'm blind. I'm completely, totally blind. I investigate using my hands and smell. Oh, I can smell a Bigfoot. Oh, no. That's just Charlie who works for catering.
That's not
I
dumb.
never was.
A dumb daredevil and his catering buddy.
Now, the most important tool that any Bigfoot hunter has is the ability to track, because as we all know, the most common evidence of a Bigfoot in the area is footprints.
Technically the only evidence. And also highly debatable as to whether or not they are actually feet prints.
Oh my God, if I see one more of these so-called private investigators following me all around New York City taking samples of my footprints, I'm going to be pretty goddamn pissed off.
Seriously, you cannot go to Oregon, Kissel.
No, I cannot. And I've got to get shoes from Zappos.
But that's the thing, though, is that there's a lot more to it than just the size of the print. There are ways to tell if it is actually a Bigfoot footprint or not.
Okay.
First of all, Bigfoots have very long strides and walk 1 foot directly in front of each other rather than the usual left, right alternation of humans.
Almost like they were done by a man with a footprint on a stick. But not really.
No. See, that's the thing, though, is that there are ways around that. It's not a man just hopping around with a stick. See, humans have a variation of depth owing to the arches of our feet.
Sure.
The foot of a Bigfoot is flat, which is why they're easy to duplicate.
Oh, and
How do we know this, though, for sure?
because I spoke with a Bigfoot, bad lumbar. They need extra
They
lumbar.
gotta get New Balance.
Yeah, they need some New Balance.
No. There's a very easy way to tell for sure whether this is just a big wooden stamp or an actual Bigfoot footprint. According to a man named Jimmy Chilcutt.
He's gotta be. He's gotta know. He has to know.
According to Jimmy Chilcutt, it's all about the ridges.
That's what I've heard women say as well.
I feel like Jimmy Chilcutt was born with chewing tobacco in his lip, just like ready
Yep.
to go.
He literally cannot begin a sentence without, well,
Yep.
well.
How much spit do you have?
So Chilcutt, like many in the Bigfoot community, has surprisingly impressive credentials. And this is true. We'll see this again and again with these people that we talk about. Like, they do actually have credentials. They have real jobs. Not all of them.
Yeah.
But some of them. Chilcutt is a former crime scene investigator and fingerprint examiner from Conroe, Texas. And for some reason, he's also the go-to guy for fingerprinting primates at zoos and research centers around the country.
Why would we be fingerprinting these fucking animals?
Yeah, I know.
What crimes are they committing?
Well, you never know when there's going to be another alligator attack. We've got to get the alligators registered on a huge registry, and don't let them buy guns.
That's what the alligators. This is the third week in a row you've brought up the alligator.
Pissed about the
The
alligators.
rest of America has passed on to the deep, horrible problems that are happening in this country.
Well,
And you were obsessed with this alligator. You did your job.
Yep.
Now, according to Chilcutt, doesn't matter.
Well, doesn't even have to look like a foot. Sometimes it can just be a big weird triangle. But it's logical to assume that since humans aren't of uniform size, in order to follow that big feet wouldn't be neither. Well. Oh, my underoos fell down. And he's just walking around just nude with his fucking dick hanging out, fucking underwear around his ankles.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a professional.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a pro, and let's be honest, he doesn't wear underwear.
No, absolutely not. Henry, you may mock. You may mock, sir, but that is exactly what he says, that it's illogical to assume that since humans aren't of uniform size, it would be safe to assume that Bigfoots aren't of a uniform size either.
Now, it's definitely big foots and not big feet.
Definitely Bigfoots, big feet. That was just a bit of a slip on my part.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm just actually wondering.
Yeah, it's Bigfoots.
So it's Bigfoot.
That sounds really stupid.
Yeah, I think Big Feets is better.
No.
More than one.
It's not. No. It's I mean, technically, you would be a big feet.
Yeah.
You have big feet.
People have been taking pictures of me on the subway for years.
And they would call me a delicate feet.
Oh, yes.
Of course. Now, in addition to the feet being different sizes, big footprints look a hell of a lot like bear paws.
Certainly not always going to be bear paws, though.
It's definitely not going to be always bear paws, and there's reasons behind that.
So they have similar paws to a bear. They look just like a bear, so it's definitely a Bigfoot.
No. It's all about the ridges.
Oh,
Ridges.
I see.
See, Sasquatch ridges are wider than those of a human and run the length of the foot vertically, while humans have the swirlies near the toes and horizontal ridges running along the arch. Check your own foot right now if you think I'm wrong.
wooden stamps have no ridges unless you cut ridges into the wooden stamps.
Dude, that's one idea, Henry, but I have to agree with Marcus on this one. I just checked out the bottom of my foot, and I found an M&M.
Yeah. I mean, wooden stamps, yes. One could, if they were so inclined, carve ridges into it, but one would have to be quite the skilled woodsman to do so.
No, you just have to fucking cut ridges into it.
Henry, do you think these people have time to take out of their busy days of doing random chill cut things? No, they do not have the time to fake this.
They're making up a profession. They're literally putting on camouflage, and thankfully, instead of killing black people, are out looking for Bigfoot.
Yes, they should not be cops, that's for certain.
Question is, what do you mean when you say ridges?
I mean,
keep
ridges.
saying
Look
ridges.
at little lines.
What?
Look at your. I know you're not wearing shoes. Look at it right now.
Oh my God! Do not show us your feet. They are disgusting and strangely brown.
Ridges.
I don't know what's happening.
You see all those lines? All those lines are going horizontally. And
What
Henry,
ridges?
show it again.
These are my skin lines.
No. Henry, show it to Ben again.
I don't want to see it again.
Show it to Ben again.
Why,
Show it.
why
Look,
am I looking
look,
at
you
his
see how
disgusting
those?
feet?
Look at those swirlies up top near the
see
toes. There's swirlies up top.
God, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah, I got mottled pink, weird Scottish feet.
They are odd.
The thing is that Bigfoot hunters don't rely solely on footprints. In the year 2000, a partial body imprint of a Bigfoot was found in a location called Skookum Meadows in Washington State by the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, a.k.a. the BFRO, who we'll hear more about later.
And they're the real deal guys. They're technically the only group that is very, very serious about Bigfoot hunting and have tried to put a lot of science behind their work.
Did I hear you correctly? The BFRO?
I mean,
BFRO.
the BFRO, BFRO for short.
BFRO.
Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, a.k.a. BFRO.
Also, I think a part of the reason why we took this country from the Native Americans is because they were terrible at naming shit.
Yeah. BFRO is a pretty good name, though.
Yeah, I don't know if they call themselves BFRO. That's just what I call them.
Okay.
I'm talking about Skookum.
Oh, yes, that is a heck of a name.
Next time I have sex, I'm going to say Skookum, right as I go instead of I'm having one.
Now, one night, and Lord knows how they decided what kind to use, the BFRO used a certain kind of pheromone to attract a Bigfoot that was reportedly seen in the area.
Greg, do you mind if I just piss all over your cargo shorts? Listen. This is about pheromones. This isn't about my cruel, weird German embarrassment fetish I have about pissing inside the pockets of a fat man's cargo shorts.
Just because I love BFRO and I love our mission, I will let you piss on me.
pissing area.
Oh, you already did it. Okay, so actually, if I didn't give you consent, you still would have done it, though, huh?
Now, along with the pheromone was a large quantity of fruit, all of which the BFRO left out in the woods overnight.
Well, apparently that's true because you have to gift in order to get the Bigfoots to come around. Is that they like gifts?
So you have to pay tribute to the Bigfoots?
Yes, there is like a list. It's like shiny objects. They like mirrors. They like Christmas ornaments. This is true. And then they like peanut butter. They like jerky, and then they like dog piss.
So they're just like Victorian queens?
They're more like
including the dog piss.
Yeah, I know.
they're more like birds and rats.
Yeah.
Those are all things you use to attract birds and rats.
Quite frankly, I think these people were just cleaning out the refrigerator and they're throwing anything that they have that they don't want at the Bigfoot.
I hope it likes mixed greens. I bought this bag of mixed greens and I just didn't do anything with for about 14 days. So
I got a
it's more like green sludge.
Now, when the BFRO team returned the next morning, they found the pheromone attractant was gone and the fruit was partially eaten. And
That
what-
sounds like Santa Claus leaving with my grandpa. They used to bite the cookie and then leave. Like Santa Claus would leave like half a cookie.
Right.
Now, while this itself is proof of nothing, the team
Good to know.
the team also found a body imprint of some sort of unknown creature. Jeff Meldrum, one of the most respected members of the Bigfoot community and prominent member of the BFRO, in addition to being a full professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University, had quite a bit to say about the imprint. Here's how he interpreted the findings.
Well, apparently the Sasquatch had approached the puddle, laid down across the halo of moist soil on the periphery of the puddle without stepping there. Very delicate for the large feet it must have. An impressive dog. then leaned onto its left elbow and forearm to reach in with its right arm toward the puddle for a sampling of the fruit so delicate. Love how long and moist its dong must be if you can imagine it, if you can picture it in your mind. And then it's pushing against the mud with its heel, sort of like it's watching Ellen, like I do in the mornings. Big, long, meaty, pumpernickel-looking dong on that Bigfoot.
I mean, do we know it wasn't just a drunk escaped convict?
It could have been anything. It was probably you.
Oh, it was me.
It's like, where is this? I can see you literally just like hammeredly lost in a forest and just being like, some fruit, huh? Better take a squat.
Yeah, you were like in 2000, you were what, a senior in high school?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, so you were big enough then.
Oh, absolutely. I was larger then than I am now, and I do recall eating a lot of fruit in the woods alone.
You were probably responsible for at least 20 sightings during your college years.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And they're like, Bigfoot has a drinking problem. And I'd be like, leave me alone. A lot of that.
Now, while many Bigfoot hunters claim to have seen a real-life Bigfoot in the wild, with one guy on a bizarre Bigfoot hunting competition reality show claiming he'd killed no less than 2, dead bodies have supposedly been found. Yet, they always seem to disappear before scientific verification can be made.
There's always, this is the fucking thing that haunts the Bigfoot hunting community, is the fact that they cannot ever prove anything. They have no real solid evidence, and every person that comes forward with a quote-unquote body or a quote-unquote pile of shit they saved in Tupperware that they say is Bigfoot's, it turns out to be a scam. And it's hurting the whole thing. Anybody who wants to take it seriously really can't put an actual valid point out there because you have so many morons with fucking monkey costumes that it's covered in dirt.
Yeah, totally. But this next story, known as the Frozen Man, it could be real.
Okay, we're getting close.
Now, in 1967, a man named Terry Cullen claimed that he had paid $25 to see a dead Bigfoot encased in a block of ice in a sideshow in Milwaukee.
What year was this?
1967.
1967. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Cullen immediately notified the small at the time but emerging Bigfoot community owing to the recent unveiling of the infamous Patterson video. So, Bigfoot mania was at a peak.
And the Patterson video is sort of the iconic video that we've seen over and over and over again.
Yeah. Bigfoot walking through the woods.
Yes.
And when the team arrived, they found a 6-foot-tall male covered in fur, save for what skin showed, which was waxy and was said to have the color of a white man who hadn't seen a whole lot of sun in his life.
Oh. So this man had a family, let's assume, and maybe they were starving, and he promised them he was going to go get a job and he was going to go buy them some bread. And then he came home and his pockets were empty of quarters, and he explained to them why. And then they got a divorce.
I saw a man frozen in ice. He had the most back hair I've ever seen.
Daddy, I'm so hungry. Do we have any soup?
No! There's a man frozen in ice not 30 yards from here. You expect me to bring home food?
I guess we can try to eat him.
Literally, there's probably a factory worker who fell in the lake on a soft spot during the wintertime.
That is the saddest part.
Now, the creature had obviously died a violent death, as both its eyes were missing from their sockets. One eye was gone completely, but the other dangled from the skull hole and rested on the creature's cheek.
Apparently, it just came back from seeing that horrible Ben Affleck film, Pearl Harbor.
Oh, I actually kind of like Pearl Harbor.
Factually inaccurate, Benjamin.
I don't know.
I do.
Well, who cares? This is cool. I mean, you wouldn't even have to market this as a Sasquatch necessarily. It just seems like a fun thing to look at.
I would pay $25 just to see a dead frozen guy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, but then if you bill it as a dead frozen guy, there's probably going to be a criminal investigation.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
And that's not really a thing you advertise. It's more like a janitor kind of nudges you while you're at some sort of university quad, and he goes, "Hey, want to see a dead guy?" And just go like, All right. Yeah, I got $25. All right.
Now, the frozen man also had an open wound. Its left arm was broken, and the room smelled like rotting flesh. But most disturbing was the creature's genitals, as the testicles appeared to be attached to the thighs rather than the dangle usually seen in humans.
Well, that's just what happens on a hot day. And I think they froze him when he was like Demolition Man, and they froze him quick.
Oh, no. There was no separation. They were firmly attached to the thigh.
Doctor, what is wrong with my testicles? They seem to be a giant web in between my legs. He's like, I'm sorry, son. It looks like you've got a rare case of bat nuts.
Yep, another case of nut thighs. Seen this before.
Unfortunately, the creature's body was removed from exhibit soon before the team could examine it physically, and it was soon replaced with a wax look-alike, but those who were present maintain to this day that the specimen was genuine.
Did they still charge $0.25 to see this wax specimen?
Totally.
It doesn't seem worth it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like seeing the real thing.
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like it was one of those situations where the people who worked at this sideshow, they stunk really bad, and they blamed it on the thing in ice.
I mean, how many times have you been to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum?
I went in there one time super drunk, and I was shaking all the wax hands. They got you're not supposed to touch them.
You're very clown collars or something here? Very small, smaller than you should be, and still.
They are.
Come home with me, you're coming home. He's grabbing Paris Hilton.
Yeah, exactly.
Pulling her from the stand.
Is that Demi Lovato? Oh, yeah.
Now, while we're on the subject of dead Bigfoots, it seems as if the biggest point of contention in the Bigfoot community is what should be done should a Bigfoot actually be found. Now, while most agree that capture is the best way to go, no matter how dangerous it might be to their own person, a lot of them speculate that such a large creature, when confronted, would be unpredictable.
Because imagine this, right? Yeah. Imagine trying to catch Gary Busey in a net.
Oh, sure.
Like if Gary Busey just himself was like running around Los Angeles and it was your job to catch him with a net, it's going to be really difficult, and he'll probably be really dangerous when you corner him.
Yeah. Right.
But think about what a Bigfoot would do.
You know what? I like the analogy because he would be a little bit dangerous, unpredictable, but then sometimes he would say a sentence that made so much prophetic sense that it would be really a powerful interaction.
Oh.
Gary Busey is a sage.
Oh, my God. I mean, he's like those, he's a shaman.
He is a shaman.
He is an absolute shaman.
And by that,
there are a lot of people that believe that big feet are also wise creatures.
That's
and
right.
that they can talk to us psychically. But that's a whole other story altogether.
Bigfoots.
God damn it.
Yeah, you're really messing this up, Henry. Who's crazier, by the way, Gary Busey or Randy Quaid?
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid?
I think that Quaid is obviously crazier than Gary Busey because Gary Busey's still working.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Gary Busey he's crazy, but in the most sane way possible.
That's right.
He's got a timeline. He's linear.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Randy Quaid's jumped off the grid. He's technically a magician. Technically, he's a wizard. He's making his own shit up. I love it. We should look up to him.
Yes. And if you do want to follow one person on Twitter today, make it Randy Quaid. It is unbelievable.
Well, yeah, some people say capture, that's the way to go. Some people say he's going to be so unpredictable that we might have to murder him in the process. But one researcher says that murder is the only way. John Green said in a speech at the 2003 International Bigfoot Symposium that killing and dissecting a Bigfoot body is essential to the understanding of the creature.
Oh, this seems like some Shinrikyo logic.
Yeah.
Kill it to release it.
Now, others prefer a more environmental Jane Goodall type of approach in which the creature is allowed to live out its life in its natural habitat under observation. And interestingly enough, Jane Goodall, one of, if not the most respected primate researcher in history, fully believes Bigfoot exists.
She'll say anything to get in a magazine, that monkey whore.
Well, wasn't Jane Goodall proven to be a total fraud? Coco couldn't speak.
Oh.
Well, I mean, they kind of speak. They can't really speak. They know how to ask for food, and they're always horny, so they know how to ask for sex, but that's it.
Yeah.
They like toys, and they get upset when their kids die, but that doesn't make them people.
Did Jane Goodall have sex with an ape?
I mean,
I'm not going to say yes because that's defamation of character, but yes.
Interesting.
She definitely wanted it.
Oh, yeah, it seemed that way.
it crossed her mind.
Oh, it had to.
Yeah, it definitely crossed her mind.
She's alone in that jungle. She's hanging out with these monkeys all day, and they're like, they seem so much like people. And then she's like, I bet I could fuck one. But if I smear a little banana on my pussy, I could teach him how to find my clitoris.
Oh, right. That's just fine.
Jane Goodall aside, the man with by far the most unique approach to the eventual discovery of Bigfoot is Russian Bigfoot hunter Dmitry Bainov.
Now, this is the guy that is based off of the character from Harry and the Hendersons is based off of.
Really?
Yes.
Now, he's definitely in the capture camp, but listen to what he has to say as to what should be done once the capture actually happens.
I can imagine young Sasquatch is doing very well in a school especially designed for them. If a human child brought up by animals becomes an animal, I wonder what will become of a homie child brought up by humans.
So Russians have one of the worst school systems in the entire world. They have to wait in line for bread, and this guy is thinking about educating a fictional character before his own Russian kids.
Russians believe that twins are bad luck. They want to introduce a heretofore unknown primate species into children's school with them. They'll be fine. Russia's going to be fine.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And according to Dmitry, this education could go both ways.
The Sasquatch could become teacher of human boy and girl scouts and the art of survival in the wild. In that case, we are bound to have parent-teacher conferences with a somewhat different agenda and composition having Sasquatch in there. And then we kill the rest of the Jews.
Oh, interesting.
That's a big thing. We take them out of the schools and we replace the Jews with the Sasquatch.
Kind of derailed there into more of an anti-Semitic rant.
Oh, no. It's all linear thought.
Oh, I see.
Today's sponsor for Last Podcast on the Left is BlueApron.com. For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. That's right, they give you all the ingredients. They give you the recipe, and you have the satisfaction of making a home-cooked meal all on your own. Blue Apron knows that when you cook with incredible ingredients, you make incredible meals. So they set the highest quality standards for their community of artisanal suppliers, family-run farms, fisheries, and ranchers. Whether it's Japanese ramen noodles, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, or heirloom tomatoes, Blue Apron is bringing you the best. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/LEFT. They got gnocchi, they got fresh mozzarella, they got pork tacos, they got vegetable pizza, and every single month they got a new menu. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/LEFT. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Of course, while we might make fun of these people, I truly do believe that they have the best intentions, and many of them do have some compelling evidence.
Well, they've all seen shit.
They've all seen shit.
And the
yeah.
Native Americans have been talking about the men of the mountain for forever.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just hairy, stinky guys that don't come around. But I think at some point there were other high-functioning primates that were around that were like us that were more closely in touch with our communities.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the truth. But in modern times, some might make the argument that the sheer number of Bigfoot sightings actually disproves their existence.
Huh.
Because there have been thousands of Bigfoot sightings over the years in America alone, not to mention Russia and parts of Asia. And it would follow that with so many people catching glimpses of the Bigfoot here and there, at the very least, a body would be found. Unless Bigfoots have some sort of death radar in which they know exactly when and where a Bigfoot dies, after which a burial immediately takes place. Now, unfortunately, all that has been found is unidentified hair, footprints, and the odd pile of excrement.
And the same thing since Elvis died.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Now, with so much left to interpretation, combined with such a strong belief by the Bigfoot community, it's almost guaranteed that there are people out there willing and able to take advantage. Perhaps the most infamous is the self-described real Bigfoot hunter.
I like the quotation, like 5 quotations on either side of that.
Quote-unquote, real Bigfoot hunter, Carmine Thomas Biscardi of Las Vegas, Nevada, current CEO and founder of Bigfoot Projects Investments Incorporated, formerly Searching for Bigfoot Incorporated, formerly the Great American Bigfoot Field Research Organization, or GABFRO for short.
But what he discovered is that BFRO is starting to make some money basically having people come out and doing lead Bigfoot hunting tours where people would pay a bunch of money. You'd go with actual researchers out into the forest and you'd spend a couple days camping looking for Bigfoot. Tom Biscardi worked as a concert promoter in Las Vegas, and he says that he's been obsessed with Bigfoot since he saw the Patterson film on Johnny Carson, or as he like to call him, John Carson, which drives me crazy. He's always like calling it like a UFO or like I hate that shit. But he basically said he was obsessed with Bigfoot. He wanted to get in the game. And so what he did was create GABFRO in order to literally directly bite off of BFRO. And so people would just get confused. Mm-hmm. And then he would siphon some numbers from them to do his own Bigfoot hunting tours.
Yeah. And these Bigfoot hunting tours are actually I wouldn't say big business, but it's definitely a business.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I would love to go Bigfoot hunting.
Actually, Gregory Reese in Weird Science and Bizarre Beliefs, he actually goes on one of these Bigfoot hunting expeditions, and it sounds like the time of my life. Like, it sounds so cool.
Actually,
it is definitely keeping paintball equipment stores in business.
That's good. Now that I think about it, actually, I'm not going to go because it's just a matter of time before no one sees a Bigfoot and they turn on me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just like, we got to get some kind of proof.
Right.
They're all staring at each other and they look at you and you're just being like, guys, we're all out of marshmallows and gin.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Now, although Biscardi had been a part of the Bigfoot community since the early 70s, his first big scam came in 2005. During an appearance on Coast to Coast, Biscardi told host George Norrie that he was 98% sure that he and his team could capture a Bigfoot in Happy Camp, California.
Now tell me, Tom, I'm so glad you're on the show. Now tell me, do you think that if Bigfoot were to follow a certain sports team, would it be the New York Mets? I think it may possibly be the Rangers. I think Bigfoot's more of a hockey guy. What do you think, Tommy?
Bigfoots do like ice.
A month later, Biscardi returned to Coast and told George that he would soon reveal the creature to the world using a webcam service that people could subscribe to for the low price of $14 a pop.
That's it. Only $14 a pop to see your real Bigfoot. That's it.
That is a very bizarre number, almost to the point where it's like he has a gambling debt and he knows exactly how much money he needs to pay it off.
It was like the guy on the train. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, I need help. I'm here into New York City from Minnesota, and all I need is $11.19 in order to get a bus ticket to get back to Minnesota, where I'm going to be a sea captain. I'm going to be when there's a boat waiting for me in a harbor. I know it's a landlocked state. We're opening up a lake. I'm going to be a sea captain. All I need is $11.19.
I would give that person money, actually.
Oh, yes.
I really do love a good spiel.
But on the day of the reveal, Biscardi backtracked and claimed he had been, quote-unquote, hoodwinked by the woman who had promised him the specimen, and because of this, Biscardi could not produce the corpse that he had promised. And Norrie, incensed that someone would go on Coast to Coast and blatantly lie about something, demanded that Biscardi refund the money of every subscriber who paid, in good faith, $14 to see a Bigfoot corpse.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for having that lion schmuck on the show. Anyway, up next, Flat Earther Tila Tequila. She's got a lot to say.
I can't believe that someone would come on to Coast AM, the number one paranormal show in the face of the planet, and lie to everybody. Now, can you believe you can get a wreck just with gems?
Perfect segue to the plug.
Now, Biscardi partially agreed to refund the money. He refunded the money of every subscriber who had paid their $14 after hearing him on Coast to Coast on August 19th, but kept all the money from people, parents, therefore keeping George Norrie in his good graces.
I don't feel that bad for the people who gave the $14. I have to say. I mean, it's an investment. You don't know if it's going to come to fruition or not. This just happened to be a bad one.
Oh, yeah, man. If there's anything that Bigfoot hunting is, it's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
Every time.
God, the house always wins.
Isn't that true?
Now, Biscardi's next scheme came only 3 years later in 2008. This scheme would reach far beyond the relatively small world of coast-to-coast listeners and eventually ended up being covered in thousands of newspapers across the world, with even CNN joining in at one point. But this particular scheme was not a Biscardi original. It came from two men from Georgia named Matt Whitten, a sheriff's deputy who eventually lost his job over the hoax, and Rick Dyer, a self-employed used car salesman whose life presumably did not change one bit after the hoax was uncovered.
Self-employed used car sales means
He had a Hyundai that he was trying to sell from his front yard.
self-employed. Very good. Small businessman.
Now, the plan was to take a rubber gorilla costume, freeze it along with a pile of animal intestines, maybe get on the local news, drum up a little publicity, and use that publicity to start up their very own Bigfoot hunting business. And Biscardi, who at this time was struggling quite a bit making money with Gabfro, heard the story about the Georgia Boys, as they came to be known, on the internet radio show Squatch Detective, and contacted them immediately.
The term internet radio show. They all say it because they think it's way more professional sounding than podcast.
No, they
never
don't.
wanna-
No, they're not podcasts. They're actual internet radio shows. You have to go to a certain website at a certain time and press
That's so
play.
dumb.
Well, there's nothing dumb about the Squatch Detectives, Henry, please.
Oh, God, it just sounds like a bunch of people squatting over a glass so people can look inside their asshole.
Yeah, real De Niro treatment.
Now, Biscardi assured the Georgia Boys that they could take this hoax way beyond their small potatoes Bigfoot hunting business scheme and could possibly even gain worldwide attention before the hoax could be uncovered, which even Biscardi knew was an eventuality.
But Biscardi can explain all of this as being like, what we're doing is we're bringing attention to the news item that is Bigfoot. And that's how he got around all of this, because he is a true believer. But he's like, well, what this will do is give it the proper attention that Bigfoot needs in order for us to get funds to really hunt Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what is it? This is like the Gulf of Tonkin of Bigfoot hunting.
Yes, to some degree. I mean, I guess they just did it kind of wrong. They created their logo before they had a business, hoping that the logo would get a bunch of people to invest.
Yeah.
Their problem is they're in the Bigfoot business.
Yeah, not a lot of money there.
Now, before the story gained national attention, it had already drawn the interest of the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, a.k.a. BFRO, not to be confused with Biscardi's Gabfro.
You do not want to be confused with Gabfro. They are BFRO. They were first, and they also get very pissed off. To the point where they created several we're going to see all the splinter things they created to attack Tom Biscardi.
Oh, yeah, they've been saying it on forums for weeks that this was an obvious deception. And to this day, oh boy, they get so mad. They even started a YouTube channel specifically to attack Tom Biscardi and Rick Dyer, the used car salesman. The YouTube channel, Bigfoot Police.
God, how dangerous would that be?
Not good.
Here's what the channel's description says.
In our opinion, Rick Dyer... They all talk like this in my head. All Bigfoot experts talk like this. In our opinion, Rick Dyer hates the Bigfoot community. He hates it. We love it, and he hates it. And he wants to embarrass them on a global stage. His only goal is to show the world just how gullible and naive Bigfoot believers are. And it's shameful. He hates us.
I think
we were born this way.
I think they're getting sidetracked from their mission to find the Bigfoot. They're fighting with each other, typical humans.
But I will say, again, and in Bigfoot Lives, these men look at the Bigfoot community, quote unquote, they look at casts of giant feet, and they just sound like commenters on Pornhub. Just like, damn, look at the plumpness of these toes. Can you believe, man, just the depths. How strong is this heel? Strong and elegant. They got the dorsals.
I mean, every time a comment is done being made on Pornhub, the person came.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, unless the comment was, I didn't come.
Oh, and sometimes they get upset. They usually get upset about people who are limp.
Yeah.
Male porn stars.
Now, while it's obvious that Dyer's motivations were more profit-oriented than some sort of scheme to just make fun of Bigfooters, When it was revealed that the Bigfoot corpse was just a rubber suit mixed up with intestinal goop, it definitely struck a blow against the credibility of the Bigfoot hunting community. Now, Biscardi called a press conference before that actually happened, before the hoax was uncovered. He called a press conference, which was actually covered live on CNN. And he told the story of how he met the Georgia Boys, but not without making sure to plug his internet radio show, BigfootLiveRadioshow.com, every Wednesday night, Pacific time, 7 o'clock.
I'm more of a fan of Squatch Detectives.
BigfootLiveRadioshow.com.
I really wish we could go back to this time in America where CNN would cover this event live.
Yeah.
This was a great time to be around.
The
2008.
news was fun.
The news was great.
Yeah, but what, 8 years ago?
Yeah, the war.
Back when it was all we had to worry about, there was recession and whether or not we were going to find Bigfoot.
Yeah, that was it.
And also, that website is fucking horrible to look at.
Jesus, it's like it's one of the most stereotypical paranormal websites I've ever seen in my life.
Bigfoot websites and UFO websites are pretty much the same because they're done by the same people, just with different clothes on. It's like one's got a Star Trek uniform on and fucking fake Leonard Nimoy ears, and the other one's wearing full camo and he reeks because he's covered in deer pheromone.
Yeah,
Right.
But back to that press conference. Besides Witten being a sheriff's deputy, the best example Biscardi could give that the Georgia Boys were trustworthy was that they picked him up at the airport on time, drove him to a hotel, and got him some food.
Those are actually three very important things when it comes to a character assessment.
Now, as far as profit goes, it seems as if the Georgia Boys were the only ones who made a dime, albeit at the expense of their careers and reputations. When Biscardi first got a hold of the Georgia Boys, they demanded $50,000 for possession of the corpse.
Wow.
And Biscardi, obviously not a man with $50,000 just lying around, convinced a sucker in Indiana to front him the cash, which Tom promised to pay back within 90 days, without really explaining how that was going to happen.
You have to go, Bigfoot, this is big, it's Bigfoot, it's Bigfoot. And the guy's just like, all right, well, I hope you have fun with my $50,000. Sad, broken people.
It is. The Georgia Boys scammed the lonely fella in Indiana.
Oh, they did, man. When the body was revealed to be a fake, Biscardi placed the blame fully on the Georgia Boys, telling his investor that he was not responsible in the least bit. And the only recourse was for the investor to sue the Georgia Boys, but such a lawsuit never saw the light of day.
Yeah, what do they have? They have no. I mean, what are you going to sue them for?
Fraud.
Camo pants and fucking in retrofitted Jeeps.
all they
With
have.
tires on them.
Okay, well, that's kind of cool, actually.
Now, as far as Biscardi goes, he's still in the Bigfoot game. Last year, he launched a $3 million fundraising effort in which he would sell stock of Bigfoot Project's investments, the money of which would be spent making films and selling DVDs, with $113,805 a year earmarked for expeditions.
Thank God. I want to see that. I got to see these receipts.
So, how much of the $3 million did he actually collect?
Currently, BPI shares are sitting at a dime a pop.
I'm literally just going to go buy the company. I'm going to go buy the company, and then I'm going to dress him up as Bigfoot and run him through a field. And then when I'm dress him as Bigfoot, I'm going to do a new thing, $5 a pop. Shoot Tom Biscardi with paintball guns. I was just like, oh, kill Bigfoot. And then just run through a field and just get people just shooting him in the nuts.
That sounds amazing.
Well, the last person that we're going to talk about today is a lot like Tom Biscardi in that this woman is a believer. Like, she does actually believe that Bigfoot exists, but she tends to fudge the facts just a little bit in order to get people on Bigfoot's side. In 2008, a one Dr. Melba S. Ketchum.
Melba. And she looks like a Melba.
Every Melba looks like a Melba.
That's true.
She announced to the world that she had in her possession genuine Bigfoot DNA and would soon release an academic paper that would prove once and for all that a Sasquatch species existed.
And that's actually very interesting because she had a whole proof. So she got some hairs. She won't say where she got the hairs from, but she said she got some hairs. And her hypothesis was that Sasquatch is a hybrid species of males from an unknown hominid crossing with female Homo sapiens, much as Neanderthals once bred with humans. This is really, truly monkeys having sex with women.
And the strangest thing is that it's not men having sex with Sasquatch women. It's only an unknown species having sex with human women.
It's sort of a fantasy thing. I could see a woman wanting to be taken by a cryptid.
A gigantic hairy man.
Yeah, sure.
Now, Ketchum's academic credentials were actually somewhat solid. She was a graduate of the Texas A&M Veterinarian School, possibly the best vet school in the country and the only respectable part of Texas A&M. Now,
This is the slight at Texas
So this is
A&M
your
because
weird-
Marcus went to Texas Tech.
yeah.
This is your weird Texas racism, right? They're called Aggies.
Yeah, they're called Aggies, yeah. But Ketchum, despite having a degree from a prestigious school, was suspect in her business dealings from the beginning. She was affiliated with many a dubious Texas corporation, including Science Alive, LLC, which was a partnership that included a guy named Robert Java Bob Schmolzback, who was previously an officer under Tom Biscardi's former LLC searching for Bigfoot Incorporated.
Okay.
And man, her lab, I remember reading this, it received an F from the Better Business Bureau for failing to deliver test results, tax schemes, and numerous lost client contracts. And so Ketchum is kind of doing whatever.
She's a fast and loose type player.
I agree.
But I do think, though, in the paranormal world, and this is one thing I will use to validate the weird ties, right? You got to get money to do all of these projects, right? And look at honestly, Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street was made because Leonardo DiCaprio basically went out of his way to hang out with oil tycoons who gave him cash on hand, right? That's how shit gets done.
Yeah, I mean, George Harrison funded Life of Brian, but just because he wanted to see it.
You wanted to see it. So you're just looking for cash. You want to do a study about Bigfoot. You need to find somebody who's going to give you cash to do that. Who's going to give you cash to do that? Not a bank.
No.
Not some normal person, not a place you're going to get a loan. They're going to look at you and be like, fuck you. No, you need an independent funder, and that person is probably going to be a criminal.
Yeah. Or a very wealthy person who sits alone next to a fireplace, pondering over the life that he lived and regretting the fact he never had a relationship with his son.
Probably. And who longs to make love to a Bigfoot.
Maybe. Bring me my precious Bigfoot.
Ketchum got a hold of this DNA in 2008, and for 3 years, she assured people in the Bigfoot community that the study was underway and would soon be released. Finally, in 2011, Ketchum said on Facebook, the paper had been submitted for publication, and the world would soon know the truth concerning Bigfoots and their dalliances with human females.
Pounding out these women. And they're grabbing their boobies and licking on their butts. Oh, yeah, Bigfoot's on them women.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked that Facebook post. Sounds pretty cool.
Yes, I would have liked it. I would have given it a laughing face emoji button thing.
Yeah.
But the months and years went by, and the paper was still nowhere to be seen. And as for Ketchum, she avoided public appearances altogether, dropping out at the last minute from a Bigfoot conference in Richland, Washington in 2012, and another conference held the previous year in Honobia, Oklahoma.
I can't believe she didn't go to Honobia.
She's blacklisted. She could never come to another Bigfoot compodium or composodium or ever again. She is invited to the Mothman Festival because numbers, people. We need eyeballs.
But going back to our episodes on chaos magic, wasn't this just putting the goal out to the world? And she had a mission, she had a plan. Wasn't this just a step for her to achieve it?
Nah, this is just lying.
Full on scam.
This is just, I mean, not scam. It wasn't necessarily a scam. It really what happened was no paper would take her bullshit.
You got to flip it and reverse it.
Yeah,
Isn't just having a degree, even having a career in entertainment is some form of scam.
Yeah.
Right.
It starts as a lie you tell yourself that other people believe.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes, Ketchum, she skipped Honobia completely. But the Richland, Washington conference, she actually did Skype in a presentation. Unfortunately, it was a DNA 101 presentation, much to the dismay of the Bigfoot community at large.
So no evidence as of yet about a Bigfoot.
Oh,
Not a bit.
Oh, no, none whatsoever.
Okay.
But regardless, Ketchum assured naysayers that the paper had, quote, double-digit co-authors, many
Means
with
nothing.
many with PhDs. Does that mean nothing, Henry?
She's just saying it could be anybody.
And some university heads of departments. Does that mean nothing, Henry?
There are people that get doctorates in physical education.
Yeah, random
Could
toe
be a
study.
gym doctor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to say that does seem to matter, though. Multiple authors, PhDs, heads of universities. This is also why, if you are a young person right now debating going to college, don't. Because everyone who runs it are morons.
Morons.
Yeah, and she said that the paper, over and over again, she kept saying it's going to be worth the wait. It's worth the wait. Just hang on. In the meantime, Ketchum, presumably just to give the public something, revealed that not only did she possess the Bigfoot DNA, but she had actually witnessed the Bigfoot that the DNA came from. And as proof, she produced a photo she had taken on what I presume to be her flip phone of some blurry sticks.
Blurry sticks?
Blurry sticks photo.
Like the Blair Witch Project?
The blurry,
Yeah.
no, the blurry, no, not necessarily, not like it wasn't hanging from a tree, it was
Okay.
on the ground.
So
So not like the Blair Witch Project at all.
very different.
Oh, very different. It's more True Detective.
Okay.
Those were in a tree too.
Oh, man.
We're way off base on this one.
Now, not surprisingly, the blurry sticks photo, as it came to be called, was not
Cleverly called the blurry stick photo.
It was not met with a warm reception by the Bigfoot community. But Ketchum pressed on, claiming to have additional evidence that a family of 5 quote-unquote playful Sasquatches regularly congregated around these sticks. But that evidence would not be released until the academic paper itself saw the light of day, which it did. On February 13th, 2013. Ketchum released her study to the public, which was called
Novel North American Homonyms, Next Generation Sequencing of 3 Whole Genomes and Associated Studies. Whole Genomes.
Man, that's a boring way to say bullshit Sasquatch papers.
A thing that doesn't exist. I have nothing and I've written about nothing.
No, the only problem was Ketchum, after 2 years of failing to secure publishing in any reputable science journal, lost patience and just started her own called De Novo,
Love it.
Journal of Science.
Love it. Easy to do. That's all you got to do to be a scientist. It's easy to be a scientist.
Well, of course, she denied starting it herself because that would be unethical. But she justified publishing it in the first issue of an unknown journal, which is also very suspect to publish something in the first issue. She said,
We encountered the worst scientific bias in the peer review process in recent history.
and then she went on to compare herself to Galileo.
Well, that's the mistake.
That seems like a bit of a stretch, yeah.
She keeps appearing on Coast to Coast, and she doesn't talk about Bigfoot anymore. All she does is being like, and the science community won't accept us, and it's all of this weird, trumped-up horseshit about how the science community won't accept them. It's like, you've never published a report.
Yeah.
You never did it.
Yeah, how's they going to get a start if no one gives them a start?
You got to get your start to get your start.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it's about. It's like your first acting role. Again.
That's it.
Yeah. And when you went to the website for De Novo, Journal of Science, you would find that the paper could only be accessed if you paid $30 for a copy.
Oh, interesting.
But due to a glitch in the very poorly designed website, many in the Bigfoot community were able to get a hold of it for free.
Thank God.
Now, the study was incomprehensible to anyone who didn't have training in genomics or forensics. But the few scientists who specialized in those areas and took the time to read it all said that it, quote, made little sense.
Shocking. Shocking. And then she had a bunch of evidence. She basically had pictures that she wanted to publish to go along with it. And if you look at her website, it's really, really dumb. She released an extremely low-res video of a brown furry thing. They keep calling Matilda. Just lying on the forest floor, like giving it a name makes it human. It's like, I was like, here's my coffee cup. His name's Tipsy. He's real.
Oh, yeah.
He's my friend. It's like Beauty and the Beast, except I'm not violently sexually attracted to this teacup like I was in the one in the film.
Well, that Beauty and the Beast is a good reference. I mean, there is a certain Sasquatch quality to the Beast, and of course, the beauty could represent these women.
Well, I don't know if the beauty represents Melba.
Well, in her own mind.
You know, they promised, they said, hey, here's the a low-res image. We're going to get you a high-res image. I'm not really sure why they didn't release the high-res image first, but to the best of my knowledge, that has never been released. But a researcher named Bill Munn said that he acquired still images of Matilda, and he said that Matilda's face resembled that of Chewbacca.
Now, Chewbacca's like a racist Bigfoot term.
That is.
Like, you can't start calling big feet Chewbacca's.
Yeah,
because that's bad.
They
C
hate
word.
that.
Yeah. Don't like it.
And this is where the Bigfoot Genome Project's website comes into play. The BGP website has become the de facto site for this entire enterprise, and thankfully, they provided a handy-dandy myths and facts page to alleviate any questions we may have.
Is it really called the Handy Dandy Myths and Facts page?
I wish it was, because that would it captures the spirit of the website.
I see.
Now, despite the many questions one might have about this entire operation, the possibility that Matilda is just a guy in a Chewbacca mask is brought up so much that it had to be specifically addressed on the site. To refute this accusation, the Genome Project shows pictures of the 1800s sideshow freak Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy saying, "Here, don't this guy look like Chewbacca?"
You know.
Good
it's
point.
Loosely.
It's Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy. He's got trichinosis.
Yeah, he's got a Chewbacca-like face.
Yeah, and they
Sorta.
and they
He's
also
Spanish.
He's trustworthy. He's trustworthy.
They also give numerous testimonies of people comparing Bigfoot to Chewbacca, a few of which Henry will read now. December 20th, 2011.
I hesitate to say it looked like the shape of Chewbacca from Star Wars. I hesitate.
In July 29th, 1972, a sighting was made 5 years before Star Wars was released, but the testimony was made after Star Wars release, so take this as you will.
Don't laugh, but it looked like Chewbacca more than anything else. I am the same man. I'm the same man.
And on an unknown date, another witness said,
He told me that once he saw Chewbacca standing in the woods watching him, I sound like my friend. My name's Roger. This is my other friend. His name is Theodore. And I mean, I'm just seeing Chewbacca everywhere. And I guess, oh, Lord, it's my Star Wars novelty glasses.
Yeah, Chewbacca. I mean, very one of the most famous of all the hairy creatures, I suppose.
I would say the famous. Do you
Yeah.
think more people know who Chewbacca is than they do know who Bigfoot is?
I think more people know about Bigfoot because Bigfoot
know.
goes to places in Russia, for example, where they don't have movies or TVs.
It's Chewbacca, Bigfoot, Robin Williams, Kim Kardashian's lower half. The biggest hairy celebrities.
Now, the ultimate conclusion of this paper is pretty much that since the samples don't match anything currently in the gen bank, presumably where such things are recorded, the sample must be a Bigfoot.
Got to be a Bigfoot.
Got to be.
Got to be. And that's the thing. And that's where she said she knows that it's not biased and the thing hasn't been tainted because she knows how to make sure that a test result isn't tainted. How does she know? Because she was a veterinarian.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would make sense then.
Now
means nothing.
we may never know the truth as to if Bigfoot exists or not, but what we do know is that these hunters will never give up until they find one.
That's great.
Thank God. I mean, if they do find one, then their careers are all over.
And then everything's over, and the hunt part of it will forever be over.
No.
So you
then
can't
they're-
find it.
Then they're Bigfoot researchers. Then, if you only find one, that means there's more. And
And
then
eventually they become Bigfoot fashion designers.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot car designers.
We need to get Bigfoot some rights. I mean, is it possible, these are like interdimensional beings, right? Is it possible that they just come to Earth, take a big shit, and then go back to where they're from?
I do believe somewhere along the lines if Bigfoot is actually real, I think it's in the same, again, I'm going to go through this fucking theory again as I'll talk about always. It's so along the lines, it's the same thing as seeing a UFO. It's a psychic/physical interaction between other dimensions. Possibly it's a fold over in time. Possibly these big feet are kind of around. Or they're just bears.
Yeah, they could be. I did see Independence Day Resurrection, and aliens are real.
I made it through 45 minutes of it, and then Natalie and I walked out.
You walked out.
Oh,
You didn't bring whiskey in with you.
It's
you have to
true.
get dumber with the movie.
Yeah.
that's a problem. You have
Yes.
you have to tamp it down.
Right.
And you know what I'm really afraid of is the next person who's getting on this Bigfoot game. Chewbacca mom.
Oh my God.
Now she's got her window to fucking squeeze more money out of a bullshit thing. That fucking woman made fucking $40 a pop for autographs.
I think she's a millionaire now.
Amen.
So we've been doing this for 5 years, and thanks so much for donating to our Patreon page.
Please do it so we don't become Chewbacca mom. I hate making money.
You know, I would say that we deserve money more than Chewbacca Mom.
I would say
Yes.
that too.
Yeah, go to
Yes.
patreon.com/. If you believe that we deserve more money than Chewbacca Mom, patreon.com/last podcast on the left is where you can put your money where your mouth is. It's serious, but in all seriousness, thanks to everyone who gives to our Patreon campaign. It's life-changing stuff. It's the reason why we can come out and do shows all over the world for you guys. Thank you so much.
She made $100,000 in donations from wearing a stupid fucking hat.
All right, well,
that she got-
It's actually more upsetting than the Toy Box Killer episode. I feel.
It makes me. Yeah.
Yes, and we will be, speaking of traveling, we're going to be in beautiful Los Angeles next weekend.
Yeah, and the Los Angeles deal, I said last week that they're going to be releasing more tickets. I thought that they were going to be releasing them online them the day of the show. So if you didn't get your tickets to Los Angeles and you still want to come see us, definitely call the Crest Theater and ask them exactly how. I don't know if you have to show up at the box office or if you can do it online, but they are releasing tickets the day of the show. So if you want to come see us, you still can. There's still a chance. And we can't wait to come out and meet all the wonderful folks out there that we've made friends with over the years.
Well, that's such a smart idea by the Crest Theater because, you know, the chances of having a riot were like not really a lot, but now we have a little. You know, we have a nice little chance of that.
Yeah. And if you guys want your last podcast on the left t-shirt, go to cavecomedyradio.com/merch. And we've got a new t-shirt in production.
Ooh.
It's gross.
It's really fucking gross and awesome.
Which one is it?
It's very, very metal.
Yeah, it's you know which one we're talking about with the little danglies.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh God, it's
Done
so
by our friend Andy Org, and it's gonna be very, very awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Where that's going to so be on the lookout on the Facebook page for that. And one more live show that we got coming up. We're coming back to Baltimore. That's going to be here in August. I believe that's August 19th. So go check out the Auto Bar website to figure out how to get tickets for that. It's going to be fucking great. I love Baltimore so much.
It's going to be so much fun. We did it a few months back. We played the upstairs, and now because of how amazing you, the listeners, are, we're playing the downstairs. It's a much larger venue, and we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be
awesome. I cannot wait to be back in Baltimore.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and thanks so much for supporting all the shows here on CCR. Abe Lincoln's Top Hat for political stuff, Roundtable of Gentlemen to feel like you're getting drunk with your friends, Page 7 to catch up on pop culture, sex and other human activities, and the Lucky Bone Show for your music needs.
Yeah, mixcloud.com/The Lucky Bone Show. My girlfriend is an insomniac, so I now get up at 7 a.m.
Well, interesting.
Horrifying for you.
And follow us on Twitter. I'm at Henry Loves You, at Ben Kissel,
Yep.
at Marcus Parks,
Yeah.
at LP on the left. Check out the Twitter.
And then we lost Henry, and Ben had to go, so I'm closing this one out. I actually, since we recorded, I have more information. The Los Angeles show, they're going to be selling the tickets day of at the box office, 50 tickets at 6:30 p.m. So you got to be there at the Crest Theater at 6:30 to get your tickets if you didn't get them before we sell out. We cannot fucking wait to come see you guys. This is going to be so fucking cool. Only a couple of more days till we hit sunny Los Angeles. So until next time, hail Satan, hail Geen, hail yourself, megustalations.
For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to cavecomedyradio.com.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
I'm so happy. That's good. All right, should we go?
Yeah.
All right, that's Marcus. I'm Ben. And then we got over that guy. We got over there. We got that guy over there. Who is that fella? He's mysterious.
Hold your gems in your hand to feel the healing power of Earth's nodes.
Whoa.
Yes, welcome to the age of Aquarius, my friend.
I don't want to go.
Take your
The
shirt off,
nodes.
girls. I'm the president of the new age.
I feel like that's how everybody got laid in the 60s.
Everybody,
This really
show
would've
me your
worked.
butt. Yeah, we're going to do some meditation while nobody's got any clothes on.
Is this still about protesting the Vietnam War? I don't understand why we're here anymore.
The war's never going to stop unless we play groovy enough tunes. That's not true.
The hippies lost.
Hippies lost. War will always be around.
I think today we're taking a departure from some of the
Macabre.
For the most part.
for the most part.
Macabre.
There's some in there, but basically we're talking about energy lines, and
Energy.
ley lines, earth,
Ley lines.
energy, harnessing the power of the dolphins.
That's a good dolphin, right?
And
Can we
don't
put some
don't
dolphin noises in there?
Oh, of course.
Hey
but
there, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Get off my ass! Dolphins rape.
They actually rape, knowingly rape.
but
They
don't forget
love
about
to
the
rape. The sound of a dolphin
Whales.
getting raped.
No, the dolphin's bigger, friendlier brother, the
The
whale.
whale. Oh, look, big whales coming to play.
And also a group of the worst pieces of shit on the face of the planet, people known as indigo children.
Indigo children. Let's get to this Earthlines situation.
Now, Earthlines is something I started researching because we've talked about a number of times on the podcast a thing called reptilians and the war going on between human bloodline and the reptilian bloodline. It's
Coming
happening right
soon.
now. If I'm going to say right now, you can't even forget about it.
You can't
All
see
right.
it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it, but it's happening, people.
But there a number of people mention all the time that a part of what the war between the reptilians and humans is that it's occupying enemy territory. And the idea is that and they kind of blow this off all the time, is that the Earth is surrounded in this energy grid, and that a lot of important places, such as Stonehenge, the pyramids,
Your
various.
Wi-Fi situations with your internet porn when
Yes.
you're watching it on their Amtraks.
I'm trying to stream Dragnet again.
Absolutely.
Loving Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd
Bring
in
it back.
But at the same
Detective
time-
Friday. That's a day. That's not a name. That's not a name.
Tom makes with his cheeseburger phone.
This makes me think of fucking Juno, and I want to set the world on fire.
That's sad. Sad.
Fucking hate Juno.
Let's get back to Earthlines.
Come at me!
No, it's fine.
You want to talk about fucking Juno?
This is what happens when Henry talks about a romantic comedy called Juno, or a dark romantic
fucking
comedy.
hate
I
Juno.
guess. It's a
So
bad.
bad.
That's okay.
So bad.
It doesn't matter.
It's a shitty town in Alaska.
Okay. That's good. At least we're getting closer to Earth and Earth lines.
Basically, the idea is that reptilians have power over certain points where churches are important
Sure.
churches because they've been using the guys
What kind
of the Catholic
churches?
Church.
Like the Vatican, things like that. Is that
I mean,
how
the Vatican is just the Vatican
just a
is
shell?
just a gigantic trampoline room filled with kids cum all over everything.
makes it tough to trampoline with
Bunch
all
of
the
fancy
jism.
statues with dicks you can suck.
Oh,
That's what they
yeah.
do. They put all these dicks on the statues. The priests can start practicing sucking the dicks on the fucking statue.
Are they little dicks on these statues or
Yeah,
long
really
dongs?
tiny little ones.
Really
They get
tiny.
fucking fit the whole set in their mouths, and the priests are all laughing and spanking each other. Just slapping each other on the back. Congratulations, good work, everybody. And
Now
making
you
a
can
system.
become the priest or a pope if you can suck off as many statues as possible.
If you can make a statue cum, then you can become pope.
so sometimes a statue of Mary might weep out of her eyes or something like that. But if you could make a stone statue actually ejaculate, you could be pope.
You are pope.
That's what the gray smoke is. It's statue cum.
Yeah,
They just
well-
put all the popes, all the potential popes in one room, and the first pope to make a statue cum wins.
Yeah, they play Lowrider on repeat, and they just listen to Lowrider and fucking blow the hell out of us. And then, there's a couple actual kids there to help them warm up.
Oh, yeah, you have to have some eye candy.
Yeah.
No doubt. Or maybe they just start painting a bunch of kids silver. I was like, is he a statue now? Stand real still. Let's pretend.
Back to ley lines.
Yes.
So the idea is that Earth is surrounded in these sacred, powerful lines, this energy grid that the reptilians and humans can harness in order to fight each other. There's also this idea that the ancient Egyptians
Isn't that just
used these ley
gravity
lines
and things like that?
That plays
Yes.
into it.
Okay.
in ways I don't understand. That's the thing, is that every single time I was like, I started getting into the research of it. So How, though? What do you mean by energy grid? What does it even mean? And
Right.
no one could tell me anything.
Can I just say this when you talk about your research? Because Henry emailed Marcus and I some documents. Just stop with the green font on your black starry page.
There's just no
It's
reason for it.
impossible to read these websites. I'm just trying. The words aren't hard. The situations are relatively simple to understand, but I just cannot wrap my head around who
It's just
designed
all
these websites.
It's like the MySpace graphics on either side of the
Yeah.
dolphins just like going
I'm
into the
looking at
water.
like the North Star in the background of this page, and with the green,
It literally hurts my eyes.
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's got the little Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy guy.
I
like,
hate
it's just, putting out the tongue.
It doesn't make any sense.
The Domino's Noid is just jumping around the page.
It's just all the free clip art you could get.
Stop. It's normal. WordPress me.
I do have some information about the grid.
Let's do it.
All right, reality, all of it,
What is it?
is a holographic grid program created by consciousness that repeats in cycles and can be best understood by studying sacred geometry. Now,
So couldn't be clearer.
Why don't I have gold pants? If that's the case, like, why don't I have gold pants right now? You know, if I can make all this up.
Yeah, why don't I have two like floating boobs by my head at any
Yeah.
given point?
I want to record in a studio that looks like a post-apocalyptic Russian world.
Hey, Ben, you want some coffee? You want some milk? And I just reach over and squeeze the breast. It's just like next to me, like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's up for me now.
This is
It's up for
great.
Daddy.
I'm happy we get to create our own world.
I studied a little bit of sacred geometry last night. By studied, I mean I tried to decipher it for a good 5 to 7 minutes. and what I found out is that sacred geometry is the sort of like that plays into ley lines and why
Yes.
certain sites in the world are connected to each other through different parallels. You can draw a line, say, from like Easter Island to ancient Samaria.
Which is really interesting, and there's a lot of theories about that. Like,
Yeah.
I was reading about that. It's like there's a lot of people who say that that Indians just sort of like they were just roads. These things were built on straight lines because they say how they worked in straight lines. And if they had to walk over a mountain, they would just walk over the mountain because they knew that was just the fastest way to get there. And then there's a lot of also there's another form of thought, which is this idea that the Earth started off as a giant crystal and that like has rounded over time and it's become now the original lines that was the crystal that Earth was at the very beginning, like a gigantic grain of salt
Right.
or a piece of sand on a never-ending cosmic beach.
Sure.
That now it's
Oh, you're
rounded
getting me
over
going.
time,
Yeah, that's
and now that those lines are still important for some reason.
So people didn't need the highway system that we created with our
No,
overreaching
instead
government.
of cars, they had their feet. And instead of shirts, they had bloody animal skins. And instead of marriage, they had rape. And instead of hats, they had just big skulls that they find in the street.
Yeah, which doesn't keep me warm at all. It's actually really heavy. But
Humans were bad for a
Yes.
long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
they relied on the Lord's highway system. I mean, they're not going to be perfect.
I mean, we're just now starting to come out on the other side, if at all. I mean, that
Oh, no. We just have Nikes and laptops now.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
All we needed was distractions to keep from
just-
killing and raping each other.
I just sounded like a communist leader for a second. You with your Nikes and your Reeboks. You listen to your tube visions.
Yeah, and I did mention the Lord's name, so let me just even out the show. Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. In physical reality, back to grids for a second, grids are electromagnetic energy, thus creating polarity or duality of experience, always seeking to restore balance and forever in spiraling motion.
Yeah, but what happens when I drop a bunch of pork out of my fucking tray?
You cry?
When I
Number
don't
one.
eat it, when I've already paid for it. Where's the balance then?
The balance is you probably don't need to eat pork, and it's better that it's on the floor.
I don't have any fucking energy grid telling me what I can or cannot eat. I'm an American.
Yep, that's right.
I'm a new American libertarian.
Oh, wow.
You can't tell me I can't put Nikes on.
No one is telling you that. You just don't have any money, sir. You have to leave the store.
I'll wear shoes. You got shoes everywhere. You mean to tell me I
There's
just
price
can't
tag.
have these shoes?
That number is a price tag.
I do what I want. I'm an American.
Well, also in my study of grids, I also found out about this wonderful occult concept known as the 33rd parallel.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the magic number 33. Everything dies.
Yes. The 33rd parallel runs all around the Earth, and it runs through many horrible sites, and it also runs through Tucson, Arizona, where the actual...
Which is pretty rough.
It's pretty rough. rough.
Pretty
It
bad.
runs through the Freemasons were founded on about 15 miles away from the 33rd parallel, and it runs through 8 different death rows. All
Interesting.
around the world. And what it said is that these death rows, when they execute these inmates, the energy from the inmates, quote unquote, bleeds into the 33rd parallel, and it can be used by the Freemasons, who in actual rituals use that to gain energy for themselves.
They just got to figure out that carbon engine. You
That's
know?
a big
They
thing.
gotta
It's just
stop
got to
using
get
the
some
blood.
gasoline.
So
It's
what
the
are
death.
some-
It's the death. They had the death row in Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina. Abu Ghraib runs through the 33rd
Those are some
parallel.
pretty highly used death rows too.
Yeah.
It's not like your floofy, like nice California.
Yeah, your mom and
death row.
pop, like
Exactly.
Mr. and Mrs. Donaldson's death row.
Baghdad runs through the 33rd parallel. A lot of bad
Yikes.
shit happened there.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill Clinton's birthplace of Hope, Arkansas.
Abu Ghraib, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
What's worse?
And he, by the way, has been associated with human sacrifice, for he has sacrificed a newborn baby to achieve power and avoid being removed from office during the Lewinsky scandal.
Absolutely. It
I agree
certainly
with
did
that.
that. And it's just not just money.
It's fine,
Yeah.
Bill had to do what Bill had to do. People
Yeah.
were trying to chase him out of there. Sometimes you
thing.
got to kill a baby to be.
If you want to get a secret blowjob, you know what I mean? Look at
Absolutely.
Anthony Weiner. He didn't kill a fucking baby.
kill a baby,
And that's what happens, because when
but
you
that
don't
he
kill
just
a baby,
had a baby though. So we'll see if that
fucking
baby
slice
sticks
that
around.
baby's throat. Because then sometimes if you send an accidental dick pic of yourself now to your millions of followers, it'll just mysteriously disappear.
So will a baby. So what are some other horrific stories that situations that happened on the 33rd parallel?
Nashville runs through Nashville, Tennessee.
Ooh, bad.
And Nashville has a famous clock tower that is believed by occultists to be a replica of Trans-Dimensional Stargate in Iraq.
It's just a replica. Though? It's not even the real one.
No, let me just
It's like a
ask.
planet
And
Hollywood.
no.
or like,
The 33rd parallel runs through Iraq as well. So it is, in essence, linking the 33rd parallel. It is linking Nashville to Baghdad. Nashville is also the possible home of secrets pertaining to the Holy Grail.
No, this is my question. This is
Nashville?
my question. Is there a picture? I just want to know. Is there a picture of this Stargate clock tower from Iraq?
It's the equivalent of the Statue of Liberty in Las Vegas. It's a replica.
Las Vegas is in direct alignment with Nashville, Tennessee.
God, I feel like everything is just on the 33rd parallel.
And the pyramids in Egypt, they run through the 33rd parallel.
Okay.
And 9 plus 1 and 32 stories, that is going to back to Tennessee. That equals the pyramid on the U.S. dollar with the missing 33rd story.
Someone just got really upset when all of his Heroes Season 2 got deleted from his DVR and sat down and wrote all this.
Yeah, and
that is why these remote controls need to be made less oil resistant.
Barbara,
because
this is-
when I'm eating chicken wings and my fingers are slip sliding all over these remote controls, I need grip marks.
Grip marks.
Grip
Think-
bumps.
Grip bumps. Think about it. Barb, I told you, don't put my DVD collection all over your magnet collection. It erases my DVD collection.
But my magnet collection's like my children.
Why are we together?
And of course, it all comes back to the Jews.
Oh, no. No. Hello, all of our Jewish listeners. We love you very, very much. The 33rd parallel has given you a bad rap.
What are these horn devils doing now?
Zionism may have been born on the 33rd parallel. In 1840, an allegation was made that Jews were kidnapping and engaged in ritual murder of 2 Christians in Damascus, Syria, a city like Baghdad, right at the heart of the 33rd
That's the thing,
parallel.
it's a city just like Baghdad.
No,
Think about
Syria, Damascus in Syria, the site of the Arab Spring, is on the 33rd parallel.
Well, I mean,
don't know.
that's
I'm just starting to think that he's
indisputable.
calling everything the 33rd parallel.
Well,
I
there's
just
a
feel
lot
like-
of. It's a big parallel.
it's a large
It goes
parallel.
all across the earth, and a lot of bad things happen on the earth.
That's also happened on the 32nd parallel.
It's also
and
happened on
the 34th
32nd
parallel.
Street in New York City.
2 Christians getting killed? Yeah, that happens every day on every parallel.
It goes through Mitten, France, where Aleister Crowley once lived.
He's not evil.
Yeah.
He was fun.
Alistair? He was a bit of a sex demon, don't you think?
He had a great time.
I mean, I don't
He
know if
had
all
it
the
all
girls that he
figured out.
had sweet, not necessarily legal intercourse with. were
They
having a
knew
great
what was
time.
going on.
I mean, they did know what was going on.
signed
but
the
most
forms.
victims do. I don't think he had a
yeah.
non-disclosure
When you
deal.
get to the top of the club, you have to sign the form
He's
and you
the-
get a card.
No,
You know what you're
He's
doing.
not Michael Jordan, buddy. He
You
didn't
read the newsletter.
I mean,
you looked
I
through the
did.
minutes of the meetings. You saw the pictures of the history wall.
I mean, yeah, sure. I've read everything.
I
but
mean, one
I just never signed
actually.
any documents that had to be signed.
I mean, despite all the crazy stuff, the actual the thing that I find interesting most is about the 33rd parallel is the connection with the death penalty.
Yeah.
Is that all of the states that the 33rd parallel runs through is allows the death penalty. All the countries that the 33rd parallel runs through allows the death penalty.
Well, half those countries have the death penalty as a reward. I mean, that sounds
Well,
like
you could also look at it
goddamn
as a sort
miserable
of
places.
like a chicken and the egg scenario where it's like you could say
You
want
want to eat both, number one. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Trick question. Henry came first.
Have you ever made a chicken omelet? Mommy and baby. But which is my favorite. But you
I'm
could also,
bringing the family back together.
But you could say that these 33rd parallel lines could maybe bring bad things out in people, but also maybe it's just it's a self-ratifying situation.
Sure.
Well, and one last thing about the 33rd parallel runs through Dallas, Texas, where JFK was assassinated, and every president since 1944 has died on the somewhere along the 33rd parallel in a state that is bisected by the 33rd parallel.
Also, it's where the 10-gallon hat was invented, and that
really
everyone
bad.
knows that the 10-gallon hat is the most racist hat.
That's right. And if you take a 10-gallon hat plus a 10-gallon hat plus a 10-gallon hat plus a 3-gallon hat, you got yourself a 33 parallel gallon
Yeah,
hat.
I got a 3-gallon hat all on my balls.
and
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the 33rd parallel is
crusty.
a Masonic conspiracy.
It could be.
Yeah, because
could.
33 is the highest level of Masonic
Except for the
Masonism.
super secret levels above it.
Does it anything to do with the Christ death at 33 or Chris Farley's death at 33 or anything like that?
Yeah, I always think, I wonder if it also has anything to do with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Mans or any other sort of fake things.
It also runs
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, the longitude and latitude lines for the center of Jerusalem add up to the biblical number of 666.
No, it is more like Jerusalem. Jerusalem.
No, they're
that's
Jelusing
not
me. Get out of Syria, Israel. It's bad for all of us.
Oh yeah. No, thanks for starting World War III. We always love it. Oh god, they're just like that little brother who goes and picks
They're
on the biggest
Holden.
bully, and then they're like, "Hey, can you go back me up, guys?" And it's like, "How about we don't?"
Yeah.
That would be great.
So let's now take the. So my research here began to take me into the world, deeper into the world of the New Age. Now,
I have a
everybody,
feeling there was
before
some-
we even get into this part of
Okay.
of this podcast, pop the shirt off. All right, because you
God.
cannot do this. It's like go stand near a beach, stick them toes in the sand, because you're about to get a little relaxed.
I was gonna say arrested. It's not.
If you're on the train.
Yeah. Just leave your shirt on.
Just do it. Just
If
take your
you're
shirt off and enjoy yourself.
Depending on your current life situation, listen to Henry, and then otherwise listen to me. If you are in a spot where you will be beaten with batons, leave your shirt on.
My advice, if you're driving, pull over before you take your shirt off.
I
That's
say
a good idea.
anywhere
Yeah.
you're listening to this podcast is a free speech zone.
Yes, it is a free speech zone. I don't know if it's a free hairy navel zone. We'll see.
So I was researching, and a part of what they're talking about is the things that are especially sensitive to these Earth grids, besides the ancient Egyptians and the horned Zionists, are these
You're really taking them to the task today. All right.
dolphins. Now, dolphins are
They're
beautiful
sweet,
creatures.
right? They're cuddly. Don't do anything wrong.
They rape.
They
But there's a lot of talk, how sensitive they are. They're incredible creatures. And there's a lot of people. There's a great website you should go check it out called dolphinwave.org. Really peaceful. Some great imagery on there. Some great MIDI files.
Do you feel like
really
the
relaxing.
The entertainment business has done a lot to push this sort of flipper version of the dolphin.
Oh yeah, how innocent and quote unquote. I can't see my finger quotes. Innocent.
He is doing the finger quotes,
These
very tiny,
dolphins
fat
are-
quotes. Yeah.
Size 97 font quotes. That's what they are.
That's about right.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the idea. Hollywood has definitely framed the argument in
Okay.
dolphins' favor.
Why not
That's for
whales?
certain. But there are some sinister ideas towards the dolphins.
Okay.
Before we get into the peaceful things,
Yes.
I was reading a very illuminating article online about how, yes, the United States has been visited and has had contact with over 12 different races of alien kind.
Races or species?
Species.
Okay.
You could also say, but you could say races.
I mean, I don't know.
Let's go species.
Or
Yeah.
like you would never say, Native Americans is different species because you're going to get put on a couple of blogs. You know? So,
Couple of
which I
lady blogs.
understand.
Not gonna like it.
So the,
Oh,
I heard we're Jezebel's favorite website.
Yeah, no, XOJ
favorite
really loves
favorite
this.
podcast.
And then I'm going to
Salon.
put them on my blog because I have to ask the question, who watches The Watchmen? I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of belief that that one of these, what is considered the most sinister and nefarious alien species, the Gray,
Right.
may be descendants from these dolphins.
This is one of my personal favorite little theories out here. How is the Gray a descendant of the dolphins?
using sonar to stun people.
Right, because
Now,
the Grays
what they
do
s-
use sonar.
Yeah,
and now
as do dolphins.
As do dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
As
I
do
did not know that.
whales.
As do the whales.
Do dolphins actually
They
use their
sonar.
sonar
Yeah.
to
That's
stun
how they get
people?
around.
I mean,
no,
not
and
to
not
stun.
to stun. It's
they
we-
use it to find fishies.
It says that they kill fish with it.
They
No.
might. They could.
I don't.
Guys, I think you're wrong. I read this article. I forget the name of the website.
I'm going to go to a
it up.
reputable article.
See.
Oh, you want to look at a reputable article?
Let's see if the dolphin sonar can kill fish. I believe that it probably could. A small
no
fish at a
fucking
short
way.
range. Sure,
Right?
why
It's
not?
sound navigation.
It's sound
Sound
navigation.
navigation.
Yeah, they send out the sounds and wait for the sounds to bounce off of other objects and come back the same way an echo bounces back to us in a cave. So
Yeah,
they can find
they
They're
walk
not
around the-
humans. They can't use their eyes. They can't use their iPhone.
Well, their
when
eyes are
when
on
I
the
want fish, I go to Yelp.
their eyes are on the side of their heads.
They just walk around like a blind kid on 23rd Street, banging around everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of good.
help
So,
me, help me.
You know, hey, kid, I don't know you.
How do
don't
I get to Chinatown? I need fish.
Oh, the
Smell your
no,
way there.
This is a great website. It's www.qtm.net/Guybers/dolphins are grays? Question mark.
I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the wonderful article by Dr. Richard Butler
Oh
called
no, you put the doctor on there. It's just Richard Butler.
Well, I assume when I'm reading an academic paper that it's going to be written by a doctor.
Now, this comes from personal investigation of over 24 abduction cases, in-depth interviews with over 50 alleged abductees. So he's putting the skepticism in there. General interviews with over 75 alleged abductees. I just don't understand the personal investigation, in-depth interview, general interview. What's the difference?
I don't know.
It's whether or not
Dance on or if they go on a second
when
date.
he's
I think
reading
it's-
about this online.
It's phone, handwritten letter, face to face.
Face to face.
Okay.
And then awkward touch, bizarre hug, and then slowly
now,
back
who's
away and get away from this guy.
Who's to say that dolphins couldn't evolve into the grays?
Yeah, that's exactly
First,
right.
let us examine the physical characteristics. The skin of a gray is
Gray.
similar to that of a dolphin. It's gray.
Yes.
The response to the
Nailed it.
environment. On Earth, the dolphins evolved legs and arms to function on land, but later returned to the oceans. Where's your facts? I'm not sure.
I don't know. They
I
just-
don't know. I don't know if that is real.
They just got out, saw a mountain, were like, we're going to go back and reverse 1 billion years of evolution.
The eyes of grays are described as large and black with what appears to be a protective shielding covering the eye. Many Earth aquatic animals have developed protective outer eye shields
For the salt water.
underwater use. It is possible that this is a leftover attribute from the gray's ocean origins.
I mean, dolphins' eyes are tiny, though,
Yeah.
and on the sides of their head.
It's not real. None of it is real.
Dolphins have to just, figure out some good. They got to get those sweet glasses.
This is really interesting. All right, now we all look at the behavioral similarities. Earth's dolphins use sonar to navigate and stun both prey and enemies.
Sure.
The stun effect is which is spelled AFFECT, is of particular interest to us. Dolphins can emit a very powerful and focused ultrasonic burst from the front portion of their skulls.
Oh, I thought that was
use
gonna go
this
fart. I thought for
stun
sure this would be a
prey-
fart joke.
No, I don't. They use this to stun prey and to stun enemies such as sharks and barracuda.
I don't think they can do that.
No, listen. He said it right here. I once saw a film of a group of dolphins using this ability on a very large barracuda.
It was on Sci-Fi at 1 a.m.
The barracuda
It's called
was
Dolphin versus
swimming-
Barracuda.
No, it was swimming towards a bunch of baby dolphins.
Mario
Four large-
Lopez was there, and the rest of the cast from what was that? What was that? Hotel California Dreams.
Yeah.
Remember that show?
I just cannot.
It was the worst.
This beam can. So now back to the Greys, and the idea is like this beam can be controlled to produce a stun effect, as in the case of the Barracuda. The result was a physical paralysis and orientation. I believe that this is the very same technique used by the Greys in abductions. That's case closed.
Case closed. Close it up, indeed.
So what you're saying is that greys evolved from dolphins, but that's the thing, though.
Well,
is that-
cetaceans.
okay.
That's what they say. It's like undersea creatures.
Oh, all right. Because I was going to ask the question, people say that, humans are evolved from monkeys. That is not true. We are evolved from a common ancestor, meaning that in order for this to be true, then dolphins and greys had to evolve from a certain ancestor and not dolphins becoming greys. See what I mean?
Think about
No.
that. I see it. But now, these
So
dolphins,
there has to be a missing link in here somewhere.
we'll have to find it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it
So
out.
let's now go back to the cuddlier, touchier side
that's
of
the
dolphins and how they can help us.
Sure, they can stun large sharks with sonar, and they can rape and rape
No,
and
do-
rape,
no,
but they
no, no,
also
no, no.
have a nice...
Dolphins are
sweet-
like the dolphins. They're so sweet, and they're in touch with us, and they're better than us.
Why?
Dolphins
how are they
are better than
How are
us.
they better than us?
Because they're in the water, and
Yeah.
they got stickers. You make stickers of dolphins.
Do you think that they have like human stickers, like we have dolphin stickers, and they put them on their little dolphin
I think they
lockers?
just like draw like crude stick figures of humans in the undersea dirt, and then
Yeah.
just cross them out to their
They don't like
babies,
us.
and they're like, "Yes, we must be scared of the humans." Because can you imagine how delicious a fucking dolphin must be?
Oh, dolphins probably
Fucking
taste great, but I
slice
think
it
if
up.
you're a dolphin, a small child must taste 1,000 times better. Bones not all formed yet,
But
just a bunch of fat.
So there's a lot of people that believe that these dolphins are very psychically connected to energy grids, and
Right.
we want to take everyone through a sort of meditational sequence. We're learning about
But
this.
why do they think that? Because they have just the way that they flow through the ocean. It
I
kind
have
of,
no fucking
Okay.
clue. What I was also reading about is this dolphin wave thing does this thing where they take, which just sounds wrong. They take wheelchair kids and kids with cancer. They put scuba gear on them. They take them under the ocean to go meet the dolphins.
Right.
And then the dolphins come jab their heads at them for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
then leave, and then they take them up, and they're like, and their behaviors radically change, and it's just like, well, they just saw a 2-ton animal, and it kind of like nipped
terrifying.
at their face. I'm
Yeah.
sure, and they can barely communicate because they're locked inside their bodies because they got Asperger's. I'm sure it
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Especially because they're already looking at us like we're a bunch of weird squiggly blobs.
One
Like
boy just looked
we're
at me.
scary to them.
He just
So then when
kept-
they see another thing.
He just kept on mouthing, "Leave me down here. Leave me down here. Life on Earth is so bad."
There's a lot of people think that we have a lot to learn from dolphins, and let's maybe want to put on some music.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, and then let's everybody relax.
Is this
Take
a
your
meditation?
shirts off. Yeah, just
Again with the shirts off.
pack a bowl.
Well, if you're
Just fucking get a Mai Tai.
if you suffer from headaches or if it's for a medical situation,
If you got glaucoma,
pack up a bowl.
take off your shoes.
Well,
Just keep most of your clothes on. I don't know
Put your-
why you try
you
to
ever
get our.
just
Are you
put
always
your
just trying to get the audience naked? This is how you relax.
This is what I do.
Yeah, you can be fully relaxed in slippers.
I will have
everybody.
everyone know that 100% of information that is being spoken on this podcast
It's all
has
learned
come from naked research.
Yes, we know that. Everybody freaking knows that. Jesus Christ.
we are now going to delve into what is known as the Golden Water Dolphin Meditation for Planetary Healing.
Golden water. A businessman's tub.
Is that it? Taft got stuck in a tub.
I mean, golden water just sounds like a bizarre business trip.
For
The pee-pee bucket dolphin meditation.
No, you go sleep in the pee-pee bucket. I'm already resting there.
It's so relaxing and so warm. It's like sitting in a bunch of hot wine.
Yeah, that's just sake, isn't it?
Let's go through preparation first, because you can't do this half-cocked. You must be
Let me
prepared. The ideal way to experience the meditation is while you stand in or near a body of water.
Okay.
That's
If-
good. But what if you're not near a body of water?
If you're not near a body of water and you are doing the meditation indoors, it can be done with a bowl of water.
Can't laugh. This is meditation.
Bowl of water. I mean,
It's like being near the ocean.
dip my toe in.
Place a clear quartz, imperial topaz, or other crystal or stone in your choice
They
in the
would
water.
happen to have like a shop online that I can order one of those just in case I need one.
They absolutely do.
They absolutely.
That is
Interesting.
That would be in the product and service catalog
good.
section of
Good.
dolphinempowerment.com.
Dolphin empowerment. Goodness gracious. Dolphins are going to take over soon.
If you're indoors, the water in the bowl and the crystal or stone can later be taken and placed in a larger body of water to then merge.
Yeah, you can put a stone anywhere.
With all the water of planet Earth, the crystal will assist in anchoring and maintaining the energy.
And when Murray comes home from work and he sees the bowl of water just sitting out, how's he going to feel he's working 12 hours a day at the fucking mill?
Next thing you know, your dog's eating up a bunch of crystals.
Right.
Licking it with his tongue.
So now that you have your crystals and your bowl of water ready, the meditation can begin.
Okay.
Begin by standing with your feet about hip distance apart and your knees slightly bent. Close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths.
Is this how you shoot a free throw also?
Dip your butt in the bowl. Pick up the quartz with your butt.
See yourself surrounded by a golden bubble of protection. It is
Just a big bubble
filled
of pee. It's a
with
big,
golden white light.
Good.
so much gold.
Visualize the skies opening up above you and a column of golden shimmering light coming down and touching you on the top of your head.
I heard that R. Kelly was saying the same thing to that 14-year-old girl.
Tiny gold sparkles begin coming down the column of light.
I feel like this is how Donald Trump just designs all of his buildings.
Now say, please fill my body and energy field with any colors, geometries, tones, or other vibrations that would assist me to raise my vibration and attain wholeness and wellness. Wait until it feels complete.
I'm just gonna just try flax. Just have some flax if you
I
want.
love how sexy this is.
It's hot.
I'm a dolphin.
Imagine it beginning to excite and energize all the water molecules in your body.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
see that where it is entering the ocean, the water is beginning to glow. Each molecule is being filled with divine love energy and is being reborn into its most pure and pristine form.
This would also be a great monologue over a kick-in like electronic beat.
Oh yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
The glow begins to spread out in every direction. This healing energy is cleaning up the pollution. It is regenerating the entire ecosystem from the streams that feed the lakes, to the rivers, to the oceans, all over the planet. Hold this image for a moment.
What? Which one?
Cleaning the thing with your brain.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Suddenly, you become aware that you are not the only person on the shore.
Who's there?
There are hundreds of thousands of people all over the planet that are also standing with their palms outstretched.
And they're laughing
sending
at your small penis. They're laughing at you. They're all laughing at your small, weird-looking balls.
Now that all the humans are connected with you, send another beam of light out of your outstretched palm towards the ocean. This time, imagine it finding and energizing a whale or a dolphin. See it enter their heart and then spread throughout their body.
And then shoot at their ass.
Imagine them beginning to glow with the golden light of love.
Ah, nice.
That's what all the ladies do with me, man. Post-coitus.
Yeah, shit out their ass.
All the humans and all the cetaceans, that would be whales. If
Okay.
you don't know.
Cetaceans.
Yeah.
The study of whales is known as cephalogy.
Whoa. Interesting.
I've read Moby Dick.
Okay.
They are now one. The radiance of this light becomes so intense
They're all
that
just like one blob. One disgusting,
yeah,
like
yeah.
hammered together dolphin and whale blob.
Oh, yeah.
Call it a dollop.
Okay.
If you've ever read Animal Man, it's like when Barnaby spews all those monkeys together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
The radiance of this light becomes so intense that the entire Earth is bathed in the golden light, and it begins to radiate out into the atmosphere around the planet. The light begins to pulse, and the Earth, the oceans, the cetaceans, and all of humanity are penetrated at the deepest level.
Marcus is really getting into this, everybody. You got to see him. You should have seen him pulsating right there. That was remarkable.
Feel what it's like to be one with the dolphins and whales. Feel the pulse of the golden light radiating.
I'm drowning. I'm a human after all.
Shut up, Ben. I want to be a dolphin. I want to be a whale.
Now that you have become one with the dolphins and whales, tell them anything you wish for them to know.
I
Then-
eat my boogers.
You know,
Can you keep a secret, dolphin? Sometimes I eat peanut butter when I'm in the bathroom.
That's
taking
very
a dookie.
can we get these humans out of here already? They got to stop doing that goddamn chant where they
They are
come to meet us.
creeping me every single time they come to
Disgusting.
tell me their fucking secrets. It's always something
We
disgusting.
literally live in a large toilet covered in shit and salt.
Sometimes I wrap pantyhose around my fucking balls until they get numb, and then my dick
Is
comes blood.
Dennis Rader here with us now? Is everybody doing these?
I just
damn
need to say
meditations?
something to the dolphins and the fucking whales.
You know what, BTK? We're gonna ask you to leave. We're gonna have to ask you to leave. You're not a whale.
But after you've told the dolphins and the whales what you want them to know, ask the dolphins if they have a special message for you.
Yeah, so you just pin her down, and then they try to fight at first, no doubt.
Hey, buddy, can you get me a Domino's pizza? Because I'm not getting any fucking cell phone reception. It's a shell. It's a big conch shell. So if you could just.
How'd you find out
give me
about Domino's Pizza?
Just don't even remember. Just even remember. I'm psychic. It's an energy grid thing. Just get me a.
Are you
a
Jewish?
meat lovers pizza, please. Have you met my wife?
Weird. She's just a big whale. Just a big. Nah, just get it for her. It's the cutest little dolphin with the
I love
fattest
her.
whale wife. Yeah, I can tell. You must.
After you've asked the dolphin if they have a special message for you, wait for a few minutes in silence while you receive their message. It may come as a voice, an image,
Let's wait.
or
Can we wait for
an
it?
internal knowing.
Okay,
Let us wait.
Let's just wait. Do you hear anything from the dolphins yet?
I mean,
I know my stomach is a little upset from that sausage and cheese biscuit.
that's not
I
the
ate.
dolphin, though. That's a
I
sausage
thought that
and
was the
cheese
inner
biscuit.
knowing that they were talking
No,
about.
that's your bad heart and your stomach problems. Let's see.
You need to take your pills.
You need to take a pill, yeah. I got something from a whale.
What is it?
What?
Turns out whales love big black asses, man. Because I can't stop thinking about them, dude.
I like big butts
Yeah.
and I cannot lie.
Oh, yeah. This whale is putting some great imagery in my head right now.
He
It's not just
loves-
the porno I watched last
Wait,
night.
how did the whales answer you yet if you have not yet asked them?
Because I asked them internally.
No, we're gonna ask the. They have to
Okay.
ask
Yeah,
the whale.
yeah,
Oh, now
we
we have
asked
to
the
ask the whale.
dolphins.
You know what, guys?
Apparently, maybe
I'm sorry
you-
you caught me, and I this is not a podcast where we lie to each other. We're all friends, and I didn't get contacted by a whale, and I'm sorry that I made that up, and I'll never lie to our listeners or
We're
to
searching
you guys
for
again.
truth.
I know, and we start muddling up with lies. No one's gonna believe it when we actually tell the truth.
Now ask the whales if they have a special message for you. Wait for a few minutes in silence while you receive their message.
Still getting that black asses thing. So
Maybe it's true. maybe it's true. Maybe you're special. We don't know. Maybe
He said
the-
it's an inner knowing.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be what you're looking at on your phone right now as
Sure.
we do the podcast.
Yeah.
now take a deep breath and open your eyes.
Thank God.
Smile, knowing you have made a difference.
Oh my God! You make
take-
more of a difference giving a penny to the Salvation Army. That's amazing.
Take your water and your crystal or stone and place it in a larger body of water. Feel free to photocopy and share this meditation with others.
Which I just don't understand. It's on a computer screen. What do you mean photocopy and share it with others?
Well, you have to print it out if you're gonna do
no, you
it.
don't. You just keep it on your fucking computer.
Yeah, how are you gonna meditate if you're staring at your computer screen all the time? Fucking Gmail's popping up and telling you have a new message.
Yeah, you got
You know,
to print
that's-
it out.
I don't
You
think
have
these
to print
people
it
are
out.
getting a lot of emails.
Not tons of emails from.
They're getting a lot of
pharmaceutical
newsletters.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of
true.
news.
Yeah.
That is true.
No doubt about
They're getting
it.
a lot of updates.
Do we have time to get into Indigo Children?
Do we have time, Ben?
Yeah, we have a little bit of time. I mean,
I just want to get into the most obnoxious. This is the Indigo Children. This is this idea that there is a new race of beautiful, magical children that have been started getting bored in 1980, and they are just perfect.
Okay, so we're just changing gears entirely here.
Yes, these are things like the dolphins. The indigo children have an intricate, immediate understanding of the Earth's energy
Ability
lines.
of sonar?
No.
No. Okay.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know of
because they're
quite yet.
mysterious and they hold secrets.
Ah, yes.
But this is this idea of various aura readers was like talking about how they're starting to see this new color they had never seen. They started seeing indigo, and you find out it's just kids that are just too fucking precious for the world.
So, do these kids
They're
self-define
the next race of
themselves as-
human being.
Do
Yes,
they
do.
self-define as
We
indigo,
should
or
also-
do people say that they are?
When you go to the end of that website, go through some of the Facebook comments of people talking about them being indigo children.
And they're just precious
well, they're
kids.
just so happy
Okay.
that they found it. Did you see the Facebook things?
Well, do you want to go through the behavioral patterns of indigos first so
Yes,
we can know?
definitely.
All right.
This is also, because you may be an indigo child.
You might be.
You are
might not
part
know
of
it.
the saving grace of humankind. If you're listening to this podcast, I mean, you're already one of the elite.
Oh,
You
definitely.
You have exquisite taste.
Oh, yeah.
You love comedy, you love information, you love knowing how we will one day rule the world.
You pity us in
Sure,
many
there's
ways.
There's some of that.
There's
some
that's
of that.
in there,
Well, they are born feeling and knowing that they are special and should be revered. And indigo knows they belong here as they are and expect you to realize it as well. These children are more confident and have a higher sense of self-worth. Absolute authority, the kind with no choices, negotiation, or input from them does not sit well. The educational system is a good example. Some of the rules we so carefully followed as children seem silly to them, and they fight them. Rigid ritualistic systems are considered archaic to an indigo child. They feel everything should be given creative thought. They are insightful and often have a better idea of method than what has been in place for years. This makes them seem like system busters. Adults often view an indigo as antisocial unless they are with other indigos. Often they feel lost and misunderstood, which causes them to go within. The old control methods like, wait till your father gets home, have no effect on these children.
Not a bit.
The fulfillment
Unless their
of their
father is Tom York from Radiohead. They listen to him.
Oh, absolutely, because he's,
Super indigo.
he's expanding.
The fulfillment of their personal needs is important to them, and they will let you know. Now, here is how
I don't know. I feel like I'm an indigo. I feel like I'm an indigo child. I love that.
You mean you're
Is
a
it
little
all-
prick?
Yeah, basically every negative quality that I have was just described.
It's just describing like girls. You might as well
Pretty
just call
much.
the show "Girls Indigo Children" or call like it's like all of NYU's undergrad school.
Every hipster girl I've ever met, no doubt about that.
Here's how you know that your child is an indigo child. They are strong-willed, born in 1978 or later,
You're a
headstrong.
bad parent. Number 4, bad
Yes.
parent.
Yeah, creative with an artistic flair for music, jewelry making, and poetry, etc. Prone to addictions. That's you, Ben.
Oh yeah.
That's you,
and
buddy.
me.
I'm pretty good with pottery too, but a lot of people don't give me credit for that.
Your jewelry is quite beautiful.
Yeah, no one's ever
It's
seen
just
it.
like a bunch of bent metal rods.
Yeah. You could technically wear it though.
An old soul as if they're 13 going on 43. Intuitive or psychic, possibly with a history of seeing angels or deceased people. An isolationist, either through aggressive acting out or through fragile introversion. Independent and proud, even if they're constantly asking you for money. Possess a deep desire to help the world in a big way. Wavers between low self-esteem and grandiosity. Bores easily. Has probably been diagnosed as having ADD. Prone to insomnia,
I
restless
was
sleep.
diagnosed ADHD.
Yeah, or ADHD.
Super indigo.
Uh-huh. Has a history of depression or even suicidal thoughts or attempts.
Ben!
Every day.
Looks for real, deep, and lasting friendships, easily bonds with plants or animals. If you possess 14 or more of these traits, you are an indigo. If you only have 11 to 13, you're probably an indigo in training.
So fucking retarded.
And if you're
right.
if you're an adult with these traits, you could be a light worker.
And here is this is from the woman who created the term indigo child, Nancy Ann Tapp. She lives in the, she has the fake career of telling people what colors their auras are.
Good.
And this is from her mouth. Usually each universal age is accompanied by a preponderance of people with that life color. For instance now, most adults are either blue or violet, the two colors with the attributes most needed in this violet age of transition. During the next age, the indigo age, indigo colors will be the norm. The indigo phenomenon has been recognized as one of the most exciting changes in human nature ever documented in society.
This makes me understand the judges during the Salem witch trials because I just want to like internally yell, "Burn her!
Burn her!
Burn this woman!"
The indigo label describes the energy pattern of human behavior which exists in over 95% of the children born in the last 10 years. The phenomenon, you know those kids that fucking harass you on the train
Yeah,
when they
because
get
they
off
have
you?
terrible parents.
They're
and
indigo
very
children.
entitled. Yeah.
Yes.
They're the reason America's going to fail and we're loose to the Chinese and the Russians.
This phenomenon is happening globally, and eventually the indigos will replace all other colors.
It's not true.
As small children, indigos are easy to recognize by their unusually large, clear eyes. Extremely bright, precocious children with an amazing memory and strong desire to live instinctively. These children of the next millennium are sensitive, gifted souls with an evolved consciousness who have come here to help change the vibrations of our lives and create one land, one globe, and one species.
They're fat.
The NWO.
And
that's what that is.
NWO.
That's the fucking New World Order.
Absolutely.
That's
Full
what
of
they're
indigo.
saying.
I agree.
That's exactly what. We just fucking cracked it. That's it. And there's